Well, it's time for me to talk about Kathleen Kennedy. I know, just like those Phantom Menace guys. So, let's tell you why I think it's time for Kathleen Kennedy to go. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video. And this is going to be a good one. It's about Kathleen Kennedy. What can I say about her that hasn't been said already? The Junkman changed his mind. Is he now part of the Phantom Menace? If that's still a thing. Which I just call any angry YouTuber that's always doing angry content Phantom Menace. I know, it's a stupid pun. It's based on one of the worst Star Wars movies ever, so it really doesn't make much sense. But here we're going to talk about Kathleen Kennedy. Now, I'm not going to tell you it's time for her to go because she wore a Nike shirt to her all-girls school film festival that said The Force Awakens. I'm not going to tell you female agenda or any kind of agenda. I don't think that's why she needs to go. And I'm not even going to talk about how, 98% of the time when she hires a director, it falls through and has to be replaced. That's a big problem right there. I mean, that's a huge problem. You got to know what you're doing. Or announcing stuff and then it never comes about. I'm not going to talk about that. My problem with Kathleen Kennedy, and I think she needs to be replaced, is she's not a Star Wars fan. Let's face it. I'm not saying she hates Star Wars. She set out to destroy Star Wars. No, she's not. Her goal is not to destroy Star Wars. Her goal is to make Lucasfilm and Disney as much money as possible. You can agree if she's done that or not. Don't tell me she never did anything in the movies. All she was someone that got coffee for Steven Spielberg. Anyway, she's not a Star Wars fan. At least I don't think so. I don't think she could tell you the model of Luke Skywalker's land speeder. Hell, I don't even think she could tell you that if Luke Skywalker had a land speeder. That's my problem with Kathleen Kennedy. I think she does like Star Wars, but I don't think she knows Star Wars. Look at other people running the big franchises. Look at Marvel. Kevin Feige. Good guy, I guess. He follows his Junkman on Twitter, so he must be a good guy, right? And I'm not even an MCU fan. Not that I don't hate him, I just never really got into him. But he knows Marvel. There's no doubt about it. He knows the characters he's working with. He knows Thor. He knows Iron Man. He knows Captain Marvel. He knows all of the heroes. He even knows that purple guy that looks like a thumb. And then you have who's running the DC. I know in the past the DC's kind of been shaken up here, but they got a new guy. I think it's Zack Snyder. No, it's not Zack Snyder. It's James Gunn. It's James Gunn. Sorry, I don't really follow the DC stuff either. I've seen a few of those. That Justice League movie was awful. I didn't see the Snyder cut. I didn't like Batman versus Superman. I was looking forward to that one. Didn't like it. I did like, I was going to say I liked Suicide Squad, the first one, but I didn't really like it. But I took my kids to see it, and they really enjoyed it, and it just kind of made me enjoy it, because I was watching them watching it and enjoying it. And, Harley Quinn. I would have went and see it just for that. Anyway, I know. But now who's over the DC? So I can't really say, but I will say I don't know a lot about this James Gunn fella, but I do know that he's a fan of comic books, at least DC Comics. He knows who Batman is. He can tell you that Batman and Robin are cousins. I mean, everybody knows that if you're a fan of the comic books. And I'm sure he knows about Swamp Thing, and he knows about, I don't know, when it comes to DC Comics, I can't really think of more than the main ones, Batman, Superman, Swamp Thing. Them are the main ones, I think. Aquaman, I guess. Aquaman, what a boring character there. Flash, I can run real fast. DC. Anyway, but I don't think, see what I'm saying? Those people know about what they're working in. Now, I think Kathleen Kennedy is a fine movie head. She just needs someone else to head up the Star Wars division of Lucasfilm. I mean, Lucasfilm's got Indiana Jones. It's going to have other stuff. I hope it has the Willow television show. You telling me Kathleen Kennedy knows about Willow? You think Kathleen Kennedy knows one thing about Willow? She doesn't know what. She probably never even heard of Willow. But that's my problem, is you have all these other people running the big franchises. And I'm not saying Kevin Feige does great. He doesn't stumble. He doesn't make bad movies. I'm not going to say James Gunn. I'm not going to make the DC movies bad. I'm saying at least they're giving it a try. You know it's coming from somewhere, from a fan side, that they're fans. And I'm not even saying that you have to be a fan of the material to run these big companies and make movies based on them. You have to at least put people in. I think Kathleen Kennedy's been good at putting like Jon Favreau in, that knows a lot about the movies. I think she made a mistake getting J.J. Abrams, although I do like The Force Awakens. The problem with J.J. Abrams is they had to beg him to do it, and once you beg somebody, you had to ask him like 3 times. Once you beg somebody to make your movie, you're not going to get it. Although I did like The Force Awakens, but should have went a different route. To me, I said it even long ago before The Force Awakens, Jon Favreau should have done the sequels. It would have been great. Don't even get me started on the Luke Kennedy didn't have a plan. They didn't have there's a lot of reasons Kennedy's got to go. And I'm a fan of the sequels, except for Rise of Skywalker. They didn't have a plan. That's just, and then, I don't know. How do you bring back the original crew? And don't have them all together in a scene. I don't. That's like if, like 1978, somebody wanted to get the Beatles all back together and say, hey, we're going to have the Beatles back together. We're going to get them on tour. But, John, Ringo, George Harrison, I don't know, Paul McCartney, I'm trying to remember them all. We're going to get them all back together. We're going to go on tour. But each one's going to sing songs from their new album, their solo album. They're not going to come out and sing together. They will be there. They will be backstage. They'll be hanging out and everything. They'll be doing promotion for the tour. But they're not going to sing together. Nobody wants to see that. I'll never, ever understand how they could sign on Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher, and they didn't have to be the center characters. I was going into those movies prepared that they were going to be kind of the side characters, but I'll never understand that. And I'm not even somebody that bashes what they did with Luke Skywalker. I'll tell you what they did with Luke Skywalker. I don't mind what they did with Luke Skywalker. I'm not going to say, not my Luke Skywalker. That must be John Skywalker. I'm not saying that crap. That's stupid. So, yeah, Kathleen Kennedy's got to go for a lot of reasons, of course. And that's why I don't understand some of these Phantom Menace channels where they make up stuff about why she's got to go. She wore a Nike shirt. There's enough reasons for her got to go. You don't got to make up stupid crap like, agenda. No, she's got to go because she doesn't know Star Wars. That's the main reason. She signed up the original crew and didn't get them together. That's a reason right there. But I like to call that a stumble out the gate, maybe, and not having a plan. They didn't have to write all 3 movies at one time or anything. They could at least came up with a roadmap. We're going to start here. We're going to end there. Hey, guys, get us there. But let's get back to how she's not a fan of Star Wars. Again, I think she likes Star Wars. I think if you ask her, she'll say she's a fan of Star Wars. But the problem is, let's say Obi-Wan. A lot of us was let down with Obi-Wan. I liked Obi-Wan. I didn't love it. I was hoping to like it more than I did. But it was good. Now, let's say she gets the story in front of her. She's not a fan of Star Wars. Again, she knows Star Wars. She likes Star Wars. She's not a diehard fan. So she gets the script or get somebody to tell her what the plan is for the show. She's like, oh, that sounds awesome. Because when you lay out Obi-Wan Kenobi as a show, it sounds awesome if you don't know Star Wars. If you're just a casual Star Wars fan, and you're like, hey, this is what the show's about, you're like, awesome. Or one that's probably better is Boba Fett. Because let's face it, you want to say Luke Skywalker wasn't Luke Skywalker? Whew. Then you got a real case for Boba Fett because it wasn't a Boba Fett. That wasn't my Boba Fett. I'll say it. I know I don't like saying that's not my Luke Skywalker. Well, that's not my Boba Fett. Although I didn't hate that show either. It just, I have a lot of back history with Boba Fett, a lot of love for Boba Fett, and it just wasn't what I was hoping for Boba Fett, and it's hard to do about it. If you ask me, Solo, I know it might be controversial, but I think of that Solo movie, they put Han, Boba Fett looking at each other on that Solo movie poster. Would have been, that movie wouldn't have flopped. That movie wouldn't have flopped if you had Boba Fett in it. And we know they had a history together, so it's not a stretch. It's not a stretch. You could have them both trying to get to a prize to deliver it to Jabba the Hutt or something. No, it's not going to be trying to get some kid. I'm tired of babysitting Star Wars. You got the little Yoda being babysitted. You got the Omega Boy being babysitted. Ugh. Let's move on from babysitting Star Wars. But you could have done the Solo story. And I like Star Wars. I like Solo really a lot. But if you did it where you had, Boba Fett trying to get there and Han, maybe they're racing to each other, maybe they, fight in between, would have been good. I don't know why they didn't go, instead of Boba Fett, they put Darth Maul in it. But let's get back to Kathleen Kennedy and why she got to go. You see, let's go back to Boba Fett. Sits down with Favreau, whoever, and says, "Hey, here's what I want to do with Boba Fett." Lays out the story. She don't know Boba Fett. She don't know nothing about no Mandalorians. She don't know nothing. I don't even know a lot about the Mandalorian. Because I don't watch that cartoon stuff. But she doesn't know about Boba Fett. She just tells me what your plan for Boba Fett is, and he's like, "Oh, it's Boba Fett. He climbs out of the Sarlacc pit." She don't know what a Sarlacc pit is when she hears it, so she just hears blah 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 blah. And he's like, "Okay." And then he lives with Tusken Raiders. She don't know what a Tusken Raider is, so she hears. Then he lives with blah 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 blah. She's probably like, "What is a Tusken Raider?" And then John Favreau's, "Oh, I think all those Native Americans or something." So she hears that. Again, it sounds good when you lay it out in the story form. You're like, "Oh, that sounds good." Then you do some silly flashbacks and everything. I don't know what happened there. Got him running a Rancor, which is... It's one of the things, if I was 8 years old, I heard both of us running a Rancor, I was like, hell yeah, but it just didn't really work for a television show. But anyway, getting back. See, I think that's her problem. She's not a fan. She has to get in there. She has to know when they say, "Hey, I want to do a backstory about Luke Skywalker's land speeder." Does she know what he's talking about? "Hey, I want to do a video. I want to do a whole TV show about the XP-38. She doesn't say, "What you talking about, kid?" She knows. And like I said, I've seen a lot of bashing of Kathleen Kennedy. She doesn't know what she's doing. She only gets coffee for people. Lucas made the wrong decision. She lied to Lucas. I've seen that one, that she lied to George Lucas. You don't have to make up silly, stupid drama excuses when you can just be honest and say she doesn't know Star Wars, so she shouldn't be there. Again, you don't have to know Star Wars, but you have to be willing to learn Star Wars. I don't think she is. I think she's good at doing her job as the head of the office, but someone else needs to be in the Star Wars division. And when I say someone else, I mean someone old school. Someone that's been around, someone that knows the OT, someone that knows the prequel trilogy, someone that knows even the sequel trilogy. You have to get them in there. You have to get someone that they don't have to be, hardcore fan, but they have to know the basics. And I don't think she even knows the basics. I think if you ask her what a lightsaber is, she probably will be able to tell you. If you ask her what color lightsabers does a Sith Lord have, she probably wouldn't be able to tell you. If you asked her what color was Luke Skywalker's lightsaber in the trailer to Return of the Jedi, the teaser trailer, she would say, I don't know. Does he have a lightsaber? So I think you get my point. Kathleen Kennedy, I know you're probably watching this. I know you stalk my videos. I've seen you. I've seen your IP pop up from Lucasfilm. You're not hiding it from anyone. I know what you're doing. You're watching here. But Kathleen Kennedy, you got to go. Sorry, Kathleen Kennedy. Like I said, I like Rogue One was okay. I didn't love Rogue One. I love Force Awakens. The Last Jedi I like. Solo I like. But you got to go. Sorry, I know. Doomcock says she's already been fired. She's gone. This is her last year. Yeah, sure. I hear that every year. Anyway, I guess I ranted enough. Tell me in the comments how wrong I am, how she's a big Star Wars fan, how she can tell you what the XP-38 is, that she can tell you Walrus, a man's middle name. But I don't think it's true. I know, it sounds like I'm going to join the Phantom Menace and, I don't know, get an application over at Geek the Gamer Kids channel. Who knows? If I did, I would have to make my videos look something like this. See? This is how they look at all those hate everything channels. I don't know why. The hate everything channels, they like to put their videos in little boxes. I don't know. I got a screen. I don't need that. And they also wear big headphones. I can't figure that out either. Okay, enough of that. That was horrible. I'm sorry about that. Well, thank you for watching. Until the next video. Thumb up so you like my content. Subscribe to the channel. And you know we will talk again.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.